the champion of the best women's basketball conference in America, as the number 3 Lady Volunteers take on the Mississippi State Bulldogs amidst a sea of orange in Chattanooga. The Mississippi State Bulldogs well represented as well. And welcome inside McKenzie Arena. And we have 2 great games for you. After we decide the SEC Championship, we'll take you to Indianapolis for Penn State and Purdue in the Big Ten tournament. But this is going to be a great game, obviously. Let's take a look how they got here. Tennessee, the 2nd seed, had a bye and then wins over Florida and Vanderbilt. Mississippi State, on the other hand, had to play 3 games to get here, beating Ole Miss and upsetting Auburn and Georgia. Pam Ward along with Tiffany Wright. And Tiff, everybody knows about Tennessee. 6 national championships, 9 SEC tournament titles already. Mississippi State here to prove that they belong.
Well, the Lady Bulldogs have been a team of record breakers this year. I mean, they had the SEC Player of the Year, Freshman Player of the Year in LaToya Thomas. They also have the Coach of the Year in Sharon Fanning. And really, this has just been a season of firsts for the Lady Bulldogs basketball team. Their first ever 20-win season. Their first national ranking. They're number 19 right now. And it's such a different team, Pam, than from what we're used to seeing. Their first winning record in conference play. And the first time that they've ever advanced to a tournament semifinal. And, you know, this isn't a team of overachievers. Really, this team can play with the best. We saw that 3 weeks ago when they nearly upset Tennessee in Starkville.
And Pat Summitt says that this Mississippi State team is legit. Sharon Fanning, the coach of Mississippi State, said energy got us here. A lot of energy to decide who will be the SEC champion.
Well, East Tennesseans, I want
2 seconds. Pfeiffer doesn't get it, and Tulane is going back to the finals again.
An amazing display of composure for the Tulane Waves. They were pressed all day long by Ed Baldwin's squad. They showed maturity and composure in the last 2 minutes of this game.
Congratulations to Ed Baldwin's squad. An absolutely great effort this afternoon. But he comes up on the short end of the stick, 79-75. So in the finals of the Conference USA postseason tournament, it will be the Lady Blazers of UAB taking on Grace Daly and Tulane. UAB beating Southern Miss 79-67, and the Wave beating the 49ers 79-75. Congratulations to all the teams in the Conference USA tournament for a wonderful season. Just a reminder, immediately or later on tonight, tune into Fox Sports News for all the latest scores and highlights from around the country. For Heather Cox and Tammy Blackburn, I'm Ron Thulin. This has been a presentation of Fox Sports Net.
Scratches.
My rent would earn me airline miles. And with points, I could upgrade to, like, grandma's room.
Like a rewards program.
Whatever.
Yeah, what does this look like, a Holiday Inn?
More ways to collect and redeem points than any other hotel program. That's today's Holiday Inn.
Lowest score possible! That's like 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls. You get the lowest rate possible every minute, everywhere.
Dial 1-800-CALL-ATT and you can save big bucks.
Get ready to face whatever nature throws your way with Ricola, makers of naturally effective herbal cough drops for over 60 years. Ricola, a mountain of herbal expertise.
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of NCAA basketball is brought to you by Agilia. Run your business on the web.
McKenzie Arena in Chattanooga, Tennessee, where we are playing the SEC Championship game as Tennessee takes on Mississippi State, all part of Championship Week on ESPN and ESPN2. Let's take a look at our Folgers starting lineups. LaToya Thomas, 6'2" freshman forward for Mississippi State, led the SEC in scoring this year.
LaToya Thomas, what she does with the basketball is unbelievable. She's certainly playing beyond a freshman.
Speaking of playing beyond a freshman, before we get to that, let's talk about Sharon Fanning, the SEC Coach of the Year in her 5th season at Starkville, as she has led them already to 23 wins. A Chattanooga native, by the way, so welcome home for her. Here's the Folgers starting lineup for Tennessee, and there's the great freshman for them, guard Carol Lawson. What a difference she has made.
Another girl, once again, that doesn't play like a freshman. She has no fear, such a clutch shooter.
And Pat Summitt says that Carol Lawson very rarely makes a mistake as far as shot selection goes. Pat Summitt, 14th appearance in these finals, 9 titles, 6 national championships, and over 700 wins. It looks like a misprint when you look at it. But 700 wins, 722 to be exact, for Pat Summitt. Mississippi State in their away red, Tennessee in their familiar white and orange. At McKenzie Arena, where it is packed. And Pam is the sea of orange. And right away, Mississippi State getting a good second opportunity, making a third opportunity, and the bucket is hit by Nitra Perry.
Already Pat Summitt furious with her team. That's something she can't allow to happen. All those second chance opportunities, and that's something that this Tennessee team isn't used to.
And that's something that Tennessee isn't used to see Michelle Snow miss a shot. She's 18 of 21 coming into this game in the tournament from the floor. Nice move, but Snow compensates with a block.
You know, talking with Pat Summitt, she said that her teammates have really bought into passing Snow the ball. She's gotten a lot more looks, and she's a lot more active on offense. They're not just putting her down there on the block and posting her up inside. She's more active this year.
Certainly has become more coachable. Pat Summitt says there's a lot of credit to Mickey DeMoss, her assistant. That shot is off. Lisa Perry misses as the shot clock winds down. And here comes Tennessee. Kristen Ace Clement along with Carol Lawson in the backcourt. Lawson misses her first shot, but Snow picks it up.
And right now, Pam, you can tell that Mississippi State is struggling down the floor. They are really jogging, not hustling down the floor, and that comes from just about all their starters played over 35 minutes last night.
It has to be a concern, something obviously we'll look at again. They played 3 games to get here, Tennessee just 2, and they were able to rest quite a few of their starters in yesterday's win over Vanderbilt. Great drive. Clement gets taken to the hole by Angela Harris.
And Harris, you know, Pam, is such a great floor general for this Mississippi State team. She plays well. She handles the ball well. Did a great job of just taking an easy look. And that's something that they need from her.
Mississippi State with the early 4-2 lead over Tennessee. She's on one-on-one. A lot of body there by LaToya Thomas, and it's going to come back over to the Lady Bulldogs. There's Harvey Catchings, played many years in the NBA. Proud father of both Tamika and Taja Catchings, who plays at Illinois, obviously.
And Catchings, you know, 11 years in the NBA. He has a lot of basketball knowledge, which has rubbed off on his children.
You got to be happy about having 2 kids on full scholarships, too.
Absolutely right. Saving parents money.
Mississippi State with a 2-point lead and the ball. Cynthia Hall, their 3-point threat, misses her first attempt. Clement with the rebound. Catchings running the floor, and she can't handle the pass. So there's the example. That's what Tennessee loves to do, that transition.
Well, you know, Coach Summitt said coming into this game that not getting into just a fast tempo game is something that they wanted to do. They wanted to slow the ball down and make them play defense, you know, in their half court set, make them defend.
More quickness in the backcourt, but Harris loses the ball. Snow gets it back. 2 turnovers for Tennessee, 1 now for Mississippi State.
And already you see Tennessee with 2 turnovers. That doesn't sit too well with Pat Summitt. Her team they're not used to making a lot of turnovers. This is not typical of a Tennessee team.
Certainly one statistic that she looks at along with rebounding. As Jennifer Fambro is called for a foul.
And Snow is just one of those players. She's so hard to defend. I mean, how do you defend 6'5", Pam? And not only can she shoot over, she can put it on the floor as well.
Tamika Catchings shooting and nailing that too. So Tennessee ties it up at 4 apiece.
One thing to point out about Catchings, Pam, is that, you know, she's really, people think that her scoring has gone down and she's really not up in numbers, but she's been doing what her team needs her to do. That's rebounding.
Catchings in the familiar headband to Randall. Nice turnaround. Clement with the rebound. Showing her height advantage there over Cynthia Hall. One thing about the Mississippi State, lack of height
very much so plays a huge factor in this ball game.
Troy Thomas blocked by Catchings.
And that's what lack of height will do for you, man. I'm talking about lack of height right there. Catchings just shoved it right down Thomas's throat.
Thomas is their tallest player at only 6'2".
And let me just point out, man, that's a 6'2" with about, let's see, a high top pair of shoes on. She's barely reaching 6'2", but right there you see she tries to elevate, but Catchings can really just jump out of the gym, and that's where that height advantage comes into play.
We hear that we're having some technical difficulties. We apologize to those of you obviously working on it. We will get it cleared up momentarily. Meanwhile, a difficulty for Mississippi State. Jennifer Fambrough with 2 fouls.
And that hurts. Somebody like Jennifer Fambrough, she's such a catalyst for this team. She does everything for this basketball team.
And there's Ms. Everything for Tennessee. Catchings knocks down a 3. She has 5.
And watching Catchings all season long, I've really found that when she gets on a roll, it's hard to stop her. You know, when she starts out with the game scoring right off the bat, it's really hard to defend her. She gets in that shooting groove.
Sands McKenzie starting to get into the game. As Thomas shoots and hits from the outside.
And that's something that worried Pat Summitt. You know, they're not just worried about LaToya Thomas on the inside. She can take it on the outside as well.
As she demonstrated there, that was a 2. As the Bulldogs come right back. Thomas over to Angela Harris. Kick it back. Fambrough. And this is a team that is not shy for hitting or taking those 3-pointers.
You'll see them all the time, Pam, in their transition break. You will see them get out there, and that is their first option, is to shoot the 3. They're not even looking to get it inside. They're taking 3.
Snow, nice turnaround.
That's what we talked about. That's hard to defend. I mean, how do you defend 6'5"? She just shoots, she elevates, and she's really just been the anchor for this Tennessee team this tournament.
Michelle Snow with 4 points now as Tennessee has that 3-point lead. Thomas over Snow. Give her another 2.
Looks like we're having a shootout, Pam. They're each other playing one-on-one. Whatever you can do, I can do better. It's back and forth.
And it's Snow's turn to put it in. She has 6. Thomas has 4. Let's see what LaToya does to counter. And you see the field goal, Tennessee hotter than Mississippi State.
As you said, Pam, they're not afraid to take shots. There you go again.
All right. LaToya Thomas knocking down the 3, so it's Mississippi State tied up.
Is this just LaToya Thomas versus Michelle Snow? I don't know. I thought it was Tennessee versus Mississippi State.
Well, it certainly turned into that. Mississippi State hanging very tough early. Catchings guarded by Thomas. The Snow has a huge advantage over Harris, but doesn't see it. Boy, it's about a foot advantage. Lawson, with the time running out on the shot clock, misses. Rebound by Nitra Perry.
And when the clock is running down, they want to put the ball in Sarah Lawson's hands because she is a clutch shooter. She can deliver in the clutch, and she wants to deliver in the clutch. She's not afraid.
Thomas again, this time missing. And she shoots over Snow. Not necessarily a bad shot, as you mentioned, though. Lawson misses. Catchings, rebound, follow, yes.
There's that tenacity by Catchings again. She's not afraid to get in there, go to the boards, work that glass.
Catchings has 5, Snow 6, accounting for 11 of the 13 points. Thomas again, this time misses. Some of the quickness that Carol Lawson brings to the ball glove. And the tenacity. And Thomas comes down with the second chance rebound.
And right now, Pat Summitt's yelling with her team. She wants them to set it up. They're getting a little too hurried on offense right now. She wants them to be a little bit more patient in their offensive set.
Coming off Harris nicely. Fambrough for 3. Catchings with the rebound. And you're not going to see Mississippi State pound the ball inside. Let's make that clear.
And right now, you look at LaToya Thomas just dragging down there on defense. She is tired.
And another foul here called against Mississippi State. Well, look at that again. As Mississippi State does not have a deep bench. This is their 4th game in 4 days. Tennessee with a 2-point lead.
ESPN and ESPN2, home of the Women's NCAA Basketball Championship.
Welcome back to McKenzie Arena. Size is one gap that the Lady Bulldogs cannot close. And as you take a look at the time these two have played each other, you know, it's unbelievable. There's no way that Harris has a chance there. Look at the first time they played, Pam, in '97. That is unbelievable there. And as you take a look now, the last time they played in Starkville, it was Tennessee never led the entire ball game. It came down to a last-second shot. Kara Lawson knocked it down from way outside to give them that victory. And, you know, Pat Summitt said, we heard her say today that they really escaped going down in Starkville.
I thought that really was a game that they deserved to lose. Michelle Snow taking a well-deserved breather for Tennessee. Over the last 5 meetings, we looked at a 65-point win for Tennessee just 3 years ago. Wow. Catchings with the miss. Rebound to Harris. Harris listed as 5'6". We saw her against Snow, listed at 6'5". I would say there's more than a foot difference, though. Harris can shoot. The heck with me. Nails it through.
The heck with the size. The girl can fire it from outside.
Angela Harris has 5.
Mississippi State right now playing man. I'm a little surprised with that size difference that they're not afraid about getting beat on the boards.
Lots of bodies. Fanbro with the 2 fouls still goes down and gets the held ball. April McDivitt has checked in for Tennessee, a freshman from Connersville, Indiana. So you got the 2 freshmen, Lawson and McDivitt, in the backcourt. Tennessee trailing Mississippi State.
When you have an ailment, different doctors might recommend different treatments.
The Lady Bulldogs of Mississippi State leading Tennessee by 1 so far in this game, but nobody leads Tennessee in the SEC. Look at this total domination, 9 titles. Mississippi State had only 6 wins in the entire tournament competition until this year when they've won 3 to get to this final. And it's got to be intimidating when you're in Chattanooga seeing people wear orange, but what about when you see Michelle Snow dunk in warm-ups?
In pregame, that is a huge intimidation factor because Michelle Snow, she's just showing you right there that she can play above the rim. That's unbelievable.
Again, especially when Mississippi State's tallest player only goes 6'2". Randall gets on the score sheet finally. That's the first 2 for Tamika. Another first-team All-SEC selection.
Tamika Randall last night was taken out of the game early. A little upset. She wanted to play a lot more, but Pat Summitt saved her legs, and she also got 2 quick fouls, something that was a problem for the Lady Ball.
Randall only played 22 minutes last night in the win over Vanderbilt. Shot clock down to 9. They have to shoot, and it works. Cynthia Hall.
And that's a backbreaker there, Pam, for the Lady Ball defense. If you play defense for so long like that, and then they knock down a shot right at the buzzer.
A 2 for Hall, who leads the Bulldogs in 3-point shooting. In the seesaw game, Mississippi State takes the lead again. Catchings, fade away, too strong, rebound by Cynthia Hall, one of the smallest players on the court. That's a tiny backcourt. Substitution, meanwhile, Courtney Graham has checked in. We talked about how tired LaToya Thomas was. Graham is in the game, and McDivitt gets it to Tennessee.
And Courtney Graham's one of those players that hasn't played a whole lot for this Mississippi State basketball team. She redshirted last year, but she does come in and she's able to give LaToya Thomas a breather. She doesn't hurt them, and she gives them good quality minutes on the bench.
We see Tennessee with the advantage in rebounds so far, and a much smaller lineup even now with Graham in the game for Mississippi State. Snow is not in anymore for Tennessee as Lawson rolls it in.
Kara Lawson, a great one-on-one player, Pam. She loves to take it to the rack, as well as shoot it from the outside. That was just a nice drive there by a freshman.
Has never played like a freshman either with this team. From Springfield, Virginia, outside of Washington, D.C. Another turnover from Mississippi State. Lawson leading the break. A little too fancy there. Caught Harrison's foot. We get a fresh 30 for the Vols.
And sometimes, Pam, it's fun to watch her eyes on the break. You know, it's unbelievable what she can do. And right here, this is just a good example. Look at that. She likes to be flashy at times, but she does have the poise and the consistency to drive in there and make those kind of shots. A lot of freshmen can't do that. They can get there, but they can't knock down the shot.
And that's something that Pat Summitt talked about, that her other players, the upperclassmen even, could learn from Kara as far as shot selection and playing the twos in crunch time.
Well, it's anything to want the ball with the clock running down, but it's something to know what to do once you get the ball. And that's something that Kara Lawson, that can't be taught.
Jackson, another freshman with the miss. Mississippi State comes back. The crowd getting a little restless here in Chattanooga. They're not used to this.
Yeah, they're not used to this. They want to see some excitement. They got a little pump in that dunk early in pregame. They're a little let down right now.
Turnover as Randall takes it away from Overstreet. 2-on-1, now 2-on-2. Randall by herself.
You asked for it, you got it.
For Tennessee, with Mississippi State with a couple of reserves on the floor, with taking the three-point lead, and the Lady Bulldogs take the timeout. Tamika Randall putting on the defensive pressure. Tennessee regaining the lead over the Lady Bulldogs. Tennessee battling Mississippi State with just a three-point lead after we're through here. Keep it on ESPN2 for the Big Ten Championship, live from Indianapolis as Penn State takes on Katie Douglas and the rest of the Purdue Boilermakers, 7 Eastern Time, live from Conseco Arena in Indy on ESPN2, all part of Championship Week. For more, of course, log on to ESPN.com.
And that should be a good one, Pam. Purdue, not as potent as they were last year, but that should be a good matchup up in Indy.
Of course, Penn State, really just the class of that league, the regular season champions. Andrea Garner, a terrific season. Helen Darling, their point guard. Be a lot of fun, so stay with us. Don't even touch the remote. Don't even think about it. Because we have champions to be crowned today. Ball goes out of bounds, but it will stay with Mississippi State.
And Pam, you know, the game a little bit sluggish right off the bat, but really nobody's been taking it to the rack. Nobody's been taking it inside, drawing fouls, getting to the line, something that Tennessee is very good at doing, and something that really kept Mississippi State in the ball game against Georgia.
Good point. Just 3 team fouls against Mississippi State, 1 against Tennessee. Inside, there's Thomas back in the game. She has 9. We saw her go out just for that little breather. They got the extra timeout with the TV timeout, so she got a few minutes of rest. She needed it.
And that really helps when you can sit your leading scorer down and not lose any really consistency in your ball club.
McDivitt looking to Snow. Great move around Fambro. You can't defend that, can you?
Fambro didn't even try. It was almost like Snow was just too fast to even get around her. She didn't even really contest. There's no way she can elevate over Snow.
And also a bad matchup in that Fambro has 2 fouls, so she has to be careful. Meanwhile, the defense for Tennessee picking up as they go into a zone.
And they're trapping out of that zone, Sam.
And it works beautifully. Lawson has McDivitt to her right, but no number, so again, a good freshman decision. She waits. And that's what Pat Summitt said. Take the layup if it's there. If not, run your offense. Be smart with the ball.
And that's a good heads-up play by a freshman, even knowing to do that. A lot of freshmen would have tried to take it right on in against that defense.
Shot clock to 9. Catching posting up inside, but Randall says, let me do it, and she gets fouled.
Well, that's what we were just talking about. Nobody's been taking it to the rack right there. Tamika Randall doing something that she really hasn't been doing a whole lot this ball game. Driving in there, getting herself to the free throw line. She's so good at working the paint. Once she gets inside, she knows how to go up. She knows how to use her body to draw a foul. That was a great drive to the bucket.
2 for 3 is Tamika so far from the floor. She hits to the free throw line. She's a 79% free throw shooter on the season. Cynthia Hall coming back in for Mississippi State as Angela Harris takes a breather.
The thing I like the most about Randall, not only is she quick, she's got a great first step. She's really quick out in transition, but she's so strong. You look at her, she's so powerful.
Certainly has a great body to play basketball, can go down low, also can pop, as Tennessee has taken a 4-point lead over Mississippi State.
Daytech Online presents Rules
Everywhere.
Mississippi State band on their feet, plenty to be happy about as they're sticking with Tennessee only down 4. And there's the other band, the Tennessee Vols. Their team in with a big fight today against Mississippi State, but Michelle Snow for Tennessee has been unbelievable in this tournament.
And Michelle Snow has just really developed herself into an offensive player. I mean, You know, Pat Summitt always said she wasn't going to be that strong, powerful player on the inside, but what she does with her 6'5" frame is unbelievable. You can't teach that.
4 of 6 today, 22 for 27 in the tournament from the floor. Really much better than her season average, as you might expect. When you shoot 80%, that's better than your season average. Outside shot is missed badly by Hall. Hall, the big three-point threat, has just 2 points so far.
And Mississippi State has to be really careful right now. They can't let the game get out of hand. They can't let Tennessee get on a big lead, down a big run. They've got to be smarter on offense and take good shots.
Lawson for 3. Always a good shot for her. And then it was her 3 that defeated Mississippi State in Starkville last month. With about 2.6 seconds left to go in the game. Tennessee.
It was unbelievable, Pam. In front of a record crowd, she broke the heart of Lady Bulldog fans everywhere. They were smelling upset in Starkville.
And Mississippi State has never beaten Tennessee. 0-16 lifetime. Another 3 missed, this time by Nitra Perry. Sharon Fanning gives some advice to her team.
And you'll see right here, as we talked about, Kara Lawson, you know, the 3, that is her best shot. That is her best shot. She loves taking the 3, and you see how her face just lights up after she connects.
Her misses one for a change. Lawson, in fact, hitting 46% of her 3s. Ketchum cleans up.
More hustle from Tamika Catchings on the board. The offensive glass, her dad loves it.
Kind of the way he used to play. 9 points for Catchings, and the lead has extended to 9. Thomas from the outside. Hard rebound as Perry goes crashing to the floor. We're going to get a foul on Tennessee.
Tennessee right now forcing them to take some bad shots. But look at Catchings on the other end. Just tenacity, know-how, and Pat Summitt is firing up, and she's calling out her defense. She's put her defense at a very high level right now.
2 fouls now on April McDivitt.
Now they've gone back into their man zone. They're not cracking out of their zone.
Shot, but wide open on the baseline. Nitra Perry, they needed that. Perry has 4. Perry actually sprained her left knee with 2 minutes to go in the first half of last night's win over Georgia. Had some treatment today. There was some discussion as to whether or not she'd be able to go, but she's tough. She started. And now it's going to come back to Mississippi State.
Well, it's tournament time, you know, and this is the time when players have to suck it up and run through a little bit of pain. But
what do you think?
Just really not much there, I don't think. In my opinion, not much there.
He called the foul on Kara Lawson. 14 fouls against Mississippi State, 3 now against Tennessee. Kristen Ace Clement has come back into the game. You know, basically a 3-guard lineup with Lawson, McDivitt, and Clement out there, along with Catchings and Snow for Tennessee. Pat Summitt shuffling things around.
You know, Pat likes playing Ace Clement, you know, for 3 shots. She loves her defense. She likes putting her out there. This is one of her best defenders on the team.
Nice jumper there by Angela Harris. 7 for the senior from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. And Mississippi State down 9, has cut it to 5, and another turnover is coming back to the Lady Bulldogs. Another foul, this time on Michelle Snow.
And Mississippi State isn't going away. They're knocking down shots. They're staying in the ball game.
This is all part of championship week, of course. Pam Ward, Tiffany Rice. Tiffany Wright, with you for Chattanooga. Where did I get that from?
I don't know.
Tennessee up by 5 in this SEC championship game. An automatic bid goes to the winner of this game, obviously. But boy, the SEC is going to get a lot of bids anyway. We'll talk about that as the afternoon goes on. A hook shot that almost dribbles in for Perry, but Snow comes up and gets it.
Right now, Tennessee's going to work their half-court offense.
Catching, forcing it. They called a block that very easily could have been a charge, and the basket counts.
That's one of those calls, Pam, that can go either way. And good offensive players know how to draw a block out of this. Look at that. Just that dip inside, that strong move. It could have went either way. But she knows how to make that contact, draw the foul.
Boy, that's doubly bad for Mississippi State because that is the third personal on Jennifer Fambrough. So Jennifer, I doubt we will see her until the second half. She takes a seat. And again, the Mississippi State bench, Sharon Fanning calls them an aggressive bench. Certainly not a bench that will score points for you.
Oh, no. And when you have players like Jennifer Fambrough on the bench with their third foul, that really hurts because they're not that deep.
Right, Fambrough is the second leading scorer on Mississippi State. She's going to have to sit for a while. Meanwhile, her team has fallen behind by 8 to the Lady Vols.
Have trouble getting along with your kids. Maybe it's because they're forced to deal with
many generations enjoying the basketball game this afternoon as Tennessee has taken an 8-point lead over Mississippi State. And in last night's semifinal game against Vanderbilt, boy, when you looked at the score, you were kind of surprised that Tennessee was not able to put them away.
They weren't able. You know, Vanderbilt did a very good job of staying in the game, knocking down shots when it was crucial. And that's what Mississippi State is doing right now. LaToya Thomas might not be the one making all the points right now, but they are staying in contention. They have players on the outside, Angela Harris, Cynthia Hall, that are just knocking down open shots to keep them in the ball game.
In fact, LaToya Thomas has been very silent since the beginning of the game. She has 9 points, and there's the field goal. Mississippi State percentage way down at 38%, but they shoot a lot of shots. They shoot a lot of outside shots.
You're right. They do, and they're not afraid of taking outside shots.
Tennessee with some pressure, but they back off as Mississippi State gets it in against State playing without Jennifer Fambrough, their second leading scorer, who has 3 fouls and is on the bench. And a foul out front. Ace Clement called for guarding Angela Harris a bit too closely.
And right now, Tennessee has their twin towers in. You look at Gwen Jackson, you look at Michelle Snow, that's a lot of height on the interior there. That's really hard to defend.
And when you lose Fambrough at 6 feet tall, the second tallest starter. So as you mentioned, you put Jackson in, even more of a height advantage now for the Lady Vols. That foul was on Ace Clement, her first. Both teams have 5 apiece. 5 fouls. Thomas all the way, the hoop and the foul.
And Gwen Jackson right there just didn't do a good job of getting out on LaToya Thomas. And you know she's an outside player. She can play inside and outside. Gwen Jackson, the freshman, that's something that Pat Summitt said she had problems with, not being able to get down and play defense, especially on the perimeter. A player like LaToya Thomas, very versatile. She can do it all. He's got to be able to defend her on the perimeter.
Thomas also a very good free throw shooter, 78% from the line for the season. She has 12. And with that three-point play, Mississippi State only down by 4 rebounds, and 12 points for Thomas.
And surprisingly, just right there on that out of bounds, Mississippi State was applying a little bit of pressure.
Boy, Jackson that time all the way to the hole, but misses. Mississippi State give the rebound to Graham, who gets fouled. Courtney Graham, nice aggressive rebound. She's only 5'11".
Look at Thomas here on the defensive help, driving in. That's just a good job of coming over on the weak side, coming in there for the help.
And still at least 6 inches taller than Graham. That foul called on Michelle Snow. She has 2, so she will sit with just under 3 minutes left to go. 17 fouls on Tennessee, so we're in the 1-and-1. Graham to the line. Only a 54% free throw shooter. And that's a killer when you miss the top end of the 1-and-1.
During this time of the year, Pam, the free throw line is very crucial. It can be your friend or it can be your worst enemy. A lot of games are won and lost in the free throw line.
Mississippi State, a team that obviously needs every point it can get. As we have a foul now underneath called against Mississippi State. So this officiating crew is starting to call it a little close after we were relatively foul-free for the first half of the first half. Just 16 fouls against Mississippi State, so Tennessee inbounds it.
Fans wanting a travel call on that instead of the 3-second call.
So turnover comes back to Mississippi State.
When you look at the opportunities, Pam, look at the opportunities that Mississippi State is getting right now. All of these turnovers, unforced turnovers that Tennessee is making.
And an opportunity now to cut this down to a 3 or even 2-point lead.
Two freshmen on the inside, Pam, are just working at it. You watch
twin Jack and Latoya Thomas. Wow, Angela Harris, what a catch that was as she somehow got away from Clement and put it in one-handed. But Clement coming back the other way forces it. She had nothing there.
Clement trying to make something happen, Pam. You're absolutely right. There was absolutely nothing there. I think she got a little frustrated because of this right here. That's lack of defense.
Wow.
That's not checking your man.
Angela Harris looking like Jerry Rice on that one, huh? With the one hand.
Absolutely.
Put it in. The Mississippi State only down by 3. As their field goal percentage is getting bumped up now from the outside, and the tie. Hall can't get it to fall. Holy. Clement brings it up. Mississippi State playing great defense so far, not giving Tennessee many good looks at the bucket as the shot clock winds down to 10. Randall has Pillow inside now. Shallon Pillow is checked in for Snow. Lawson, desperation three. She's making a living off that.
That was like from NBA range. She was way out there. Now she's telling her team, let's go. She's fired up. She's feeling it. And she's just such an emotional spark plug for this team. I mean, let's not even talk about what she does offensively. She also is an emotional leader as well.
And she's given the Tennessee Volunteers a 6-point lead. And another turnover opportunity. It's going to go back to Mississippi State as Graham can't handle. So with 16 seconds left on the shot clock, the Lady Bulldogs get another shot at it. Catching's coming back in for Tennessee. Boy, with Lawson, it almost seems like she doesn't need a shot clock. Just put the shot clock at 5, give her the ball, and she'll score.
She'll score every time. You know, right now, Pam, the important thing for both teams is to not get any bad fouls. You know, coaches call them stupid fouls. Don't get any stupid fouls with less than a minute to go before the half.
Shot clock down to 8 now. Thomas by herself. Bank time.
You got to call that, Pam. You have to call that.
Latoya Thomas, again, the leading scorer in the SEC this year as a freshman. No one, not even the great Shaniqua Holdsclaw did that.
And that's a huge statistic, especially when you put Shaniqua Holdsclaw in the same sentence. That's a feat she was never able to accomplish.
Randall elevating nicely on her jumper. Can't get it to fall. Nice weak side rebound there by Nitra Perry. So Mississippi State, the 19th ranked Lady Bulldogs. Not a lot of people in the country know about them. I think they do now. They're hanging in against Tennessee.
And this Sea of Orange has gotten a little quiet, Pam. They're not, you know, yesterday, the Sea of Orange was applauding for Mississippi State. They wanted them to beat Georgia, but not today.
Harris taking Lawson to the hole and drawing the foul.
And that's a smart move by Harris to drive in there with the time winding down, get herself to the free throw line. Put her team only down by a couple. That's aggressive.
Coming up at halftime, the Monistat Halftime Report, a preview of the Big Ten Championship between Purdue and Penn State, and the Big East quarterfinals as UConn takes on St. John's. Overtime for the Big East men, St. John's and Miami, all coming up at the half on the Monistat Halftime Report. Harris knocking down 1 of 2. She has 10. And Mississippi State cut it to a 2-point lead. No, as it dribbles out. Pillow with the rebound, time running out. Give it to Lawson, right? Oh, for the first time, she misses one with the clock running down. Lawson, though, with 8 first-half points, 14 first-half points for Latoya Thomas. Mississippi State trailing the Lady Vols only by 3 in the SEC Championship game.
FogDog.com, your anytime, anywhere of Mississippi State.
Hello and welcome to the ESPN Newsroom, everybody. I am Jim Frazier. This is Steve Berthium. A special welcome to those of you on ESPN who have been watching State Farm Tennis, which is in a rain delay. Hopefully that will clear up. And, of course, welcome those of you watching on ESPN2. Hoops is the theme.
And it's not just the men today. The women are busy as well. UConn basketball fans often accused of being spoiled. The ever-increasing supporters of Geno Auriemma's women's team may have a right to be. Every year about this time, some Huskies named Big East Player of the Year. Friday, It was junior Shea Ralph, is the 7th straight UConn player to win the Conference Player of the Year award and the 10th overall. Another women's tradition in stores, hosting the conference tournament, which is the right of the Big East #1 seed. UConn faced up against St. John's at Gamble Pavilion today, first half. Tamika Williams the steal, and she goes the other way. Williams had 14, UConn up by 23. Another tradition, blowing out your opponent. Second half, more Huskies off the St. John's miss. Svetlana Obrosimova, babushka to Swin Cash. UConn rolling 85 to 41. UConn's 44-point margin of victory is a Big East tournament record. Swin Cash and Tamika Williams pacing a very balanced Husky attack, 14 each. UConn in search of its 7th straight Big East tournament crown. In other Big East games, Alyssa Murphy led Boston College with 19 as they knock off Georgetown 74-52. BC advancing to the semis for the first time since 1990. They will face UConn, and that is a very good Big East women's rivalry. We've got another game set at 6 o'clock over in stores. It'll be Notre Dame and Miami.
How about Georgia Tech and Duke? ACC tourney. Duke in control. Georgia Schweitzer spotting up and nailing the three. And the Blue Devils up by 17. Moments later, Michelle Matyasovsky bringing it up court, flips it to Lauren Rice, and back to her teammate as Duke takes control with a 20-point lead, 21-point lead, and they cruise from there. They are now 25-5 and within one win of their first ACC tournament title. North Carolina and Virginia, second half. Virginia down 63-60. Renee Robinson open and finding a range. We're tied at 63 all. Under a minute left, same score. LaQuandra Barksdale slashing and cashing in. Barksdale and the Heels go on for the upset, 67-63. Talking to me also. As that is your final from that one.
It's a women's hoops bonanza on ESPN2 directly following the SEC championship game you're watching right now. We're going to bring you the Big Ten women's tourney title tussle pitting defending champion Purdue against Penn State. Arvira Jones and Beth Mowins have a preview.
About an hour away from tip-off for the Big Ten Championship at Conseco Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, the 3-seed Purdue Boilermakers and the #1 seed Penn State Lady Lions. In the semifinals last night, Penn State got by a tough Illinois team to get into the final, while Purdue was able to cruise by the #2 seed Michigan. And Vera, really no surprise that these two teams are playing for this championship. They've got two of the best players in the country.
They've got two of the best players. They're two of the best teams. It's going to be an exciting matchup. I'm really excited about Helen Darling, who's Penn State's point guard, floor leader, and point guard extraordinaire. Right now, she's being tabbed as the best point guard in the country. On the other end, you can make sure you check out number 32 for Purdue. Her name is Katie Douglas, and she is an exciting player, the most versatile player in the country. She can play every spot pretty much but center, and they rely on her to do just that. So I'm really, really looking forward to this contest.
The Big Ten tournament was reinstated in 1995, and Vera, since then, it's been all Purdue and Penn State just about.
Well, each team has 2 championships apiece, so they're both looking to see who's going to pull out that third. And, of course, there are implications for the NCAA tournament.
That's right. For Penn State, possibly a shot at the #1 seed in the NCAAs if they can get the win here today. Let's go back to the studio.
Thanks, guys. They are at halftime at Chattanooga to meet you Catchings and the Lady Vols, trying to claw their way to another SEC tournament title. We are back with more after this.
When you have an ailment, different doctors might recommend different treatments. But for women suffering with yeast infections, the #1 recommendation of doctors is specific: Monistat. Monistat starts working immediately to relieve the awful burning and itching, and it provides an effective cure. Sure, doctors have many brands of yeast infection medicine to choose from, but Monistat is their #1 choice. Monistat, the #1 doctor-recommended brand.
Picture this.
Great ball game in Madison. Big Ten finale for both Indiana and Wisconsin Hoosiers. First half, A.J. Guyton. That's an NBA three, people. Indiana up early. Moments later, it's more A.J. Driving baseline. Look at the gorgeous reverse. Just hanging around. Guyton had 12 in the first half. Later in the first half, it's Kirk Hastings. Driving for 2. Make it 3. Indiana led 31-22 at halftime. This one is going right down to the wire in Madison. And it is now a final. It was tied up 50-50 in the final moments. Wisconsin has won 56-53. So Indiana finishes the regular season on a loss, but the Hoosiers are guaranteed the 5 seed in the Big Ten tournament. They will face number 4 Illinois in the opening round on Saturday. For Wisconsin, just their 2nd win in 37 meetings with Indiana.
St. John's blows a chance for the top seed in the Big East tourney as Miami prevails. And Miami's first ever share of the Big East regular season title. Icing on the cake as the Canes also post back-to-back 21 seasons for the first time in 35 years, and they are peaking at just the right time. They've won 11 of their last 12 conference contests. Well, we have got a fine contest going on as the Vols have a 3-point lead. Enjoy the rest of the SEC championship game.
You need to race to Atomic Pond. Atomic Pond has 3 convenient locations to serve you, including our newest location in Fountain City. We have a large selection of jewelry, electronics, tools, car audio, musical instruments, and so much more. So race on down and visit us today.
Our branch locations are getting smaller at ORNL Federal Credit Union. Now they're the size of a computer. Come inside. Look at your transactions and balances. Transfer funds. Make that car payment. Pay off the rest of your bills. Or just get some money. With Cyber Branch Computer Access, you can take care of your finances at any hour on any day. ORNL.
This halftime report is brought to you by Monistat, the #1 doctor-recommended brand for the treatment of yeast infections.
Mississippi State trails Tennessee by only 3 in the SEC championship game in Chattanooga. The winner gets the automatic berth for the women's NCAA tournament, and you can find out who gets all 64 berths coming up in the women's NCAA tournament, which begins on St. Patrick's Day, Friday, March the 17th. First tournament preview special comes March 14th, and over 20 games on ESPN and ESPN2, the exclusive home of the women's NCAA tournament. Tennessee with their hands full, only up by 3 over Mississippi State in Chattanooga. Second half action coming up.
When you have an ailment, different doctors might recommend different treatments. But for women suffering with yeast infections, the #1 recommendation of doctors is specific: Monistat. Monistat starts working immediately to relieve the awful burning and itching, and it provides an effective cure. Sure, doctors have many brands of yeast infection medicine to choose from, but Monistat is their #1 choice. Monistat, the #1 doctor.
No, we only have it in gel form, and it's on aisle 4.
Now, this maple has a bounce ratio of 8.3.
How do I raise my roof?
And Netmaster 2000 works on any net.
Next. Both hands up, keep your elbows straight, and use this motion here.
Thank you very much. I will do that.
Don't dial 0. Dial 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls, and you can save big bucks. 1-800-CALL-ATT. It's all good.
In our family, men lose their hair early.
State, Tennessee with only a 3-point lead over Mississippi State here in the championship game of the SEC tournament. Cam Ward and Tiffany Wright, and boy, Mississippi State hanging in there. Tennessee really not in a good offensive club.
That will not go down. This team knows how to stay in a ball game. They showed that 3 weeks ago when they played in Starkville, what they were able to do. And in the first half, it's really been Latoya Thomas, the freshman sensation. This woman has got to be tired. She just simply has to be, Pam. I mean, what she's been doing is taking it to the rack, and she's been shooting it from the outside. Does have range, and for a freshman, that's just something that, you know, you just can't teach. That's just natural. But the problem for Mississippi State has been Michelle Snell. How do you defend 6'5"? They haven't found an answer yet. She can score on the inside, on the outside as well, and she's just so hard to defend. You saw her dunking in pregame. Michelle Snell has got this Tennessee team rolling.
Go with 8 points, 4 of 7 from the floor. Mississippi State, as we take a look at our Nike first half stats, Mississippi State struggling early, but really getting that field goal percentage up. And this is surprising. They're only down 3, even though they've only hit 2 3-pointers.
But look how many they've taken. It's the attempts, Pam. 2 of 11. They've shot the 11 times. A lot of teams don't do that in the first half.
Mississippi State certainly using the three to terrific advantage in their huge upset win yesterday over Georgia. Here we go with second half action and a change in the starting lineup. McDivitt starting in the backcourt for Tennessee. And right away, she comes out firing. And Fambrough comes up with it. Fambrough starting with 3 fouls here in this second half for Mississippi State. Inside, and a foul is called against the Volunteers.
And everybody always talks about the first half, the last 2 minutes of the first half being so important. I think it's the first minutes of the second half that are just so crucial in setting the tempo and deciding what the outcome of the game is going to be.
That foul called by Carol Lawson. She has 3 for Tennessee. The fans here, as is their custom, they like to stand until Tennessee scores the first bucket of the half, and then have to wait a while. Thomas goes in.
And that was just a nice look by Fambrough. They are one of the best 4-5 combos in the SEC.
Thomas, 7 of 11 from the floor. She's got 16 points for the Dogs, who are down by 1. Randall creating something. Fambrough can't hold on to the rebound, and we have a held ball. Possession arrow gives it to the Bulldogs. Let's take a look at the comparison here. Thomas and Catchings, terrific ball players. Advantage for Thomas.
Look how many more opportunities Thomas has had to touch the basketball. 11 times. Every time the ball goes down the court in Mississippi State, it is going in the hands of Latoya Thomas. You better be sure.
That was something Pat Summitt told us she wanted to limit, was her touches, and so far Tennessee has not done that. That ball is kicked out of bounds. Mississippi State will get it with 14 seconds left on the shot clock. They're still standing, waiting for Tennessee to score its first bucket of the second half. Knoxville, I hear about, what, an hour and a half away or so from Chattanooga?
Not very far. These Tennessee fans, it didn't matter. If it was 3 hours away, they were going to come. This is like their home court. It really is.
They're all over the state, obviously, are the Lady Vol fans. Shot clock down to 5. Decision time. So Thomas gets it. Randall 2-on-2. She's got a much taller than Harris, and she uses it to her advantage.
That's when Randall is at her best. Off transition, shooting that jumper is automatic for her.
Randall 4 inches taller than Harris, who was guarding her that time out. And the ball is going to come back to the Lady Vols.
And this crowd is just really not into it. They have nothing to cheer about, it seems. And look right here, as you see, Catching. She doesn't feel like she did anything there, but, you know, Latoya Thomas, you know, it might have been a little inside push there, you know.
2 fouls on Latoya Thomas for Mississippi State. The Lady Dogs down by 3. McDivitt for 3. Ball caroms to Harris. On transition, here's Thomas. Oh!
And that's the kind of pass you never want to make that caused that easy transition bucket right there. You never make that pass across the zone like that.
Boy, Thomas made it look easy. She got it way underneath the basket, scooped it over to her right, and put it in. She's 18. Catches, drives, rebound, Thomas. And a foul called against Tennessee. Latoya Thomas starting to take over early here in this second half.
They're getting a lot of opportunities right now, Pam. Tennessee making some turnovers. Offensively, not in sync where Pat Summitt would like her team to be.
Well, Pat Summitt was upset in Tennessee's performance in their first game here in this tournament. Their win over Florida in the first half, and she said they just weren't listening to me. They weren't following the game plan. They came out in the second half, played well. She thought they played very well yesterday against Vanderbilt. But I would imagine in the locker room, the message was pretty much the same.
Well, you know, Pat Summitt, her biggest thing, she loves for her team to be able to understand scouting. You know, it's one thing for a player to have the know-how to come out and just to play tough and play hard. But when you study another team and you study their tendencies, she said her team just really didn't study the scouting report for them.
And they only lead Mississippi State here by 1 as Lawson tries to force something. The bucket will not count. But the foul is going to be called against Cynthia Hall. Cynthia Hall's first for the Lady Bulldogs. And we mentioned McDivitt starting. Ace Clement starting on the bench in this half. McDivitt in the starting lineup. Lawson doing it again.
And that's just a great move inside by Lawson. She wanted it to count. She was like, give it to me. She wanted it to count. That foul was well before the shot.
Catching, nice drive. That's a little bit too nice. They're going to call the charge on catching. Trying to create something inside.
You know, this Tennessee bench right now, very quiet. Everybody is sitting down but Michelle Snow. I think Michelle Snow and Pat Summit, and now she's about to take a seat, but I think Michelle Snow wants back in this ball game.
She's been replaced by Shallon Pillow, who is playing underneath. Inside, Fambrough gets it. And Mississippi State has taken the lead. Fambrough's first two. She was saddled with 3 fouls in the first half. Their second leading scorer, averaging just under 14 points a game, has 2. And Mississippi State has a lead.
Fambrough is one of those players. She is the glue of this Lady Bulldog basketball team. She holds this team together, makes shots when they need them.
Catching. Rims out. Rebound for little Angela Harris. Mississippi State team just tenacious on the boards, even though they're a lot shorter than the Vols. And the fans are getting restless in Chattanooga. Drive to the hoop. Cynthia Hall.
Tennessee's not careful. It'll be a repeat of Starkville. Because Mississippi State led the entire game. And they had to win it in the final seconds.
Tennessee needed that desperation free from Carol Lawson to win in Starkville in February as Randall draws a foul inside. And for those of you watching, I mean, a lot of people were hoping that we would get a Georgia-Tennessee final. Georgia, the #2 country in the team, Tennessee, #3. But boy, this Mississippi State team is putting on a show.
I think people now are going to know who Mississippi State is. They're going to know that Mississippi State is for real. They can play with the best in the country. They came close to beating, well, they did beat the best in the country, one of the best in the country last night, but they came really close to even upsetting Tennessee weeks ago.
They had a huge win earlier in this season. The Lady Bulldogs defeating Louisiana Tech. They're 12-0 against people not in the SEC. The SEC, we think, is a pretty good conference. So they're 8-6 there. First time ever they've had a winning record in their conference as you look at Fanning's numbers at Mississippi State, Kentucky, and also right here at Tennessee, Chattanooga. Who'd have thunk it? Tennessee trailing the Mississippi State by 2 as they play for the SEC championship.
ESPN and ESPN2, home of the Women's NCAA Basketball Championship.
The most powerful secret society on college campuses across America.
Welcome back. Mississippi State with a 2-point lead over Tennessee, and this is why Mississippi State, nice interior passing, and that's poor defense by Tennessee, something that Pat Summit said they didn't do a very good job of in their previous games, playing defense on the interior.
And that was Shallon Pillow who was shot over there. Coming up when we are finished, it's the Big Ten Championship from Indianapolis as the regular season champion Penn State Nittany Lions tries to add another ring for the tournament as they take on Katie Douglas and the Boilermakers, 7 Eastern time, right after this basketball game, right here on ESPN2, all part of Championship Week. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Mississippi State with the basketball and the 2-point lead. Mississippi State has 8 points in the paint so far in this half, just 2 for Tennessee, and Snow is checked back in for the Lady Vols. The defense picking up. Clement also has checked in for McDivitt, a better defensive player than April, and the defense stays off there with Randall. Lawson for 3. She's been a little bit cold from the outside. Running the court the other way, Nitra Perry over Lawson, a block, count the hoop.
And that was just nice hustle by Carol Lawson to get back. Unfortunately, it wasn't back in time. And Mississippi State will run it right back after. Tennessee gets the steal, can't knock it down in transition off the break. And that's just Mississippi State at their best. That's what they've been doing all season long in transition. Easy basket, the bucket, and the foul. Much to Carol Lawson's dismay.
And Nitra Perry, what a story. We talked about how she sprained her knee last night. She's got it wrapped. That left knee wrapped very tightly. She wasn't even able to take part in the shoot-around today, just was jogging on the sideline. That three-point play gives Mississippi State a 4-point lead. We're talking about some foul trouble. Carol Lawson has 4 fouls for Tennessee. McDivitt has checked in for her. Fambro has 4 for Mississippi State. She's on the bench. Strong move inside, catching. Error. But Clement gets the air ball rebound. Randall with 2 seconds left on the shot clock, and Clement's going to be called for going over the back.
In Tennessee right now, they haven't been able to get an easy shot. Mississippi State, despite not having legs, is making them work in their half court, not giving them easy looks.
The team fouls mounting up now, 5 against Tennessee, just 3 against Mississippi State. And Lawson on the bench with those 4 fouls, the emotional leader. So the backcourt now consisting of Clement and McDivitt for the Lady Vols. Shot taken from the outside, three-pointer no good from Hall. Rebound follow, though. Great job inside by Nitra Perry.
That's also one of those being in the right place at the right time. And, you know, that just gets the few Mississippi State fans that are here in maroon and white a little fired up in the midst of all of this sea of orange.
Traces of maroon. The foul was called on April McDivitt. McDivitt has 3 as Perry knocks down her 3rd free throw of the half, or 2nd free throw of the half, excuse me. So the backcourt, some major foul trouble for the Lady Vols.
And Pat Summitt said today in shoot-around, she was telling her team, I'm sick of fouls. I'm very sick of fouls. We fouled entirely too much last time. And she really made that a point in shoot-around to play better defense, smarter defense.
16 fouls against Tennessee, and they are down by 7 to Mississippi State. And now McDivitt, the freshman, the other freshman. Acrobatic shot, Randall misses, but gets the follow and the foul.
Well, that's even better than knocking down that circus shot, because you have the chance for a 3-point play. Also, a move that got the fans a little bit involved, trying to change the tempo of his team. That's just a really nice move there. Can't draw the foul, but look at the tenacity to go right back up with it. And just look at both coaches. Sharon Fanning is sick. She is sick. That just kills you. That'll kill a coach. That's like a knife in a coach's heart when there's those second chance opportunities.
Randall gets a 3-point play. She has 11. That foul was on Courtney Graham, just her first. And the lead is cut to 4. Here comes the crowd.
Got everybody on their feet now, Frank.
Mississippi State a chance to show what they're made of in hostile territory, playing the 3rd-ranked team in the country. Take that. It won't fall, though, for Perry, and the Lady Vols looking to run. And again, the Bulldogs doing a great job of stopping that transition offense.
Ace Clement at the point.
Snow trying to get around Graham. Can't do it, even though she has a height advantage. Ramble from the outside. Rebound. Ripped down by Perry. Not a lot of second chances for Tennessee in this game, in this half.
I really don't think Tennessee is taking smart shots right now.
Tennessee in that zone. Thomas, great move to get around Snow, and the foul.
That's a spectacular play by a freshman. Spectacular. That's how you shoot against 6'5", Sam. You want to know how to shoot against 6'5"? Right here. The fake goes right by her. That's unbelievable. And she's so fired up. Just look at the poise right there. Just look at her go inside. She has no doubt about it that she's going to make that shot.
Wow. Fake Snow to the court. Thomas completing the 3-point play. This freshman is spectacular. 21 points for the freshman from Greenville, Mississippi. Only 1 field goal in the last 5 minutes, by the way, for Tennessee. As you see, the 9 of 13, terrific 21 points for Latoya. A whistle here and a foul against Mississippi State.
Snow try to take it right back at him. After being shook out of her shoes, so to speak, on that last play by Latoya Thomas. But this is what they need to do more of, Pam. They need to get it inside, go inside, get those high percentage shots. That's what I meant about taking, smarter shots. This ball game, they've been taking a lot of shots that just weren't out in their offense. A lot of shots when the clock is running down. That's what they need to do to be more effective.
And that was Michelle Snow's first field goal attempt of this half. She was 4-7 in the first half, and she finally gets her first shot with almost 8 minutes gone, and she misses both free throws. Looks like we have a little lane violation against Mississippi State, so Snow will get one more shot at it.
Snow gets a break, but that's what we were talking about earlier, Pam, with that free throw line. The charity stripe can be your enemy or it can be your friend. And right now, Snow couldn't knock down the shot, and now she's got 2 freebies at the line and wasn't able to knock them down. That's what that last one.
Takes advantage of that freebie. Michelle's first point of the second half. She has 9. Mississippi State with the basketball and the lead. If you take a look at the field goal percentages, Thomas in the air.
And that's how you improve your field goal percentage right there. She is filling it. She definitely has a hot hand for the Lady Bulldogs.
23 points for Latoya Thomas. Her Bulldogs up 8. Going inside, catching. Can't get it to fall. Follow. Does go in. Tamika's first point for the second half.
That's a nice hustle play there by Tamika Catchings. But you know what makes Latoya Thomas so good, Pam, is the fact that she can go inside and outside. She has that versatility that a lot of players don't have, especially somebody with her height being 6'2".
Plays on the block a lot, but really is probably more comfortable in the perimeter. Wild shot by Perry.
And if Mississippi State wants to hold on to this lead, they can't have shots like that. They've got to take higher percentage shots, work the ball around their offense, not let this ball game get away from them.
Snow wants it inside. Takes it over Courtney Graham, who rips down the rebound. So Graham, again with Fambrough in foul trouble, Graham has gotten a lot of minutes and has done well against Snow defensively.
She certainly has, and Tennessee has been going inside to Snow. They've been trying to get her some more looks. Snow just hasn't been knocking them down.
Mississippi State certainly taking their time now. Shot clock down to 8. Angela Harris shoots over Clement for 3.
Now that is a backbreaker, man. That is a backbreaker.
Harris with her first bucket of the second half. Her 3 gives Mississippi State a 9-point lead over the Lady Vols. And a lot of Vols are standing on the bench now. McDivitt's no look pass is taken away by Hall. She has Harris to her left. Harris gets it somehow and then is fouled by McDivitt.
And that is unbelievable. The smallest person on the floor making plays like that. I mean, look at that. She gets the rebound out of all of that orange. Look at that, those tall trees inside. She comes up with the ball.
And
that's unbelievable.
That's 4 fouls, Tiffany, now on McDivitt. And it's all hustle, isn't it, with this Mississippi State team? And Sharon Fanning talks about it. She says, our work ethic, our team chemistry got us here, and nobody works harder than this team.
You know, a lot of hype has been built around Latoya Thomas, but really what makes this team really work well as a unit is the fact that with Latoya Thomas in the game, she opens up so many more opportunities offensively for her teammates. A lot of times, teams will collapse on her. That just gives her teammates wide open threes.
Harris hits them both. Angela Harris has 15 points. Mississippi State has an 11-point lead over the Lady Vols. Lots of foul trouble for the Vols as Mississippi State tries to pull off a huge upset.
When you have an ailment, different doctors might recommend different treatments. But for women suffering with yeast infections, the #1 recommendation of doctors is specific: Monistat. Monistat starts working immediately.
FogDog.com, your anytime, anywhere sports store. Fog Dog.
Mississippi State has turned a 3-point halftime deficit into an 11-point lead in the second half of the SEC Championship, where the Volunteers dominating this league. 8 straight first-place finishes in the regular season, 2 straight titles here in the tournament. Of course, they had 3 straight NCAA titles. That streak broken last year, and they had never, ever lost to this Mississippi State Lady Bulldog team. But a lot of those things on the line right now in this game. Sharon Fanning's club up by 11.
This is unbelievable. I mean, people out there watching should not adjust their TV sets. That is a real score, and I don't think a lot of people expected that. Like you said, everybody came in here wanting the Georgia game. They wanted to see how Tennessee would play against Georgia, but right now Tennessee is fighting for their life against this very good Mississippi State team.
And Mississippi State began, they had to play 1 extra game in this tournament. This is the 4th game in 4 days for State, the 3rd game in 3 games for Tennessee. We saw some early fatigue, especially from Thomas, but it seems they've got a nice second win. They're young, they can do this, right?
You got a young ball club like that, they don't get tired as easily.
Lawson gets it back. She's been stone cold. Rebound ripped down by Thomas, and she smartly holds up.
You know, it's a little bit of, maybe their legs are a little tired. You know, they have played a lot of games, but adrenaline's gone. And I think they feel like this team is playing with so much pride right now. They're out to prove the world that they really are the real thing.
Andy Landers, the Georgia coach, says that the 5 best starters, he could put them up against anybody else in the country. Shot clock is 3. Air ball, the follow. The shot would have counted, however, but Perry's shot was a little bit short. But good defense that time by the Lady Vols. They face an uphill battle, down 11 as we go inside 9 minutes. Snow lob over everybody.
Snow feeling it. That's what they need. They need those easy shots like that. Snow wasn't knocking them down recently.
So that was the first field goal of the second half. It took 11 minutes to do it. And Sharon Fanning, with the 9-point lead, wants to talk about it for Mississippi State.
And just look at LaToya Thomas's numbers. I mean, the first 3 games, 18 points, 6 rebounds. Today, already with 23 and 6 boards. That is just unbelievable stats, especially for a freshman playing in this tournament.
They certainly are riding her back in this game. 2 more conference champions will be crowned tomorrow night on ESPN2 at 5. The Atlantic 10 finals from the Apollo in Philadelphia. And at 11:30 Eastern, we take you to Louisville for the Conference USA finals from Freedom Hall. 2 conference title games tomorrow night, only on ESPN2. As championship week continues into another on the networks. And of course, ESPN2, your exclusive home of the women's NCAA tournament, all the way to the Final Four in Philadelphia.
This Tennessee crowd, Pam, is stunned. They cannot believe that Mississippi State has a double-digit lead at that over their beloved Tennessee Vols. It's unheard of.
And Mississippi State now the lead whittled down to 9. A wide open look, but the shot missed by Angela Harris, and another board. Thomas is working. Unbelievable.
I don't think her legs are bothering her too much. Not hustling after rebounds like that.
Thomas over Randall for 2. In and out. Another chance. Perry and the foul.
This Tennessee team does not have an answer. Mississippi State, all the second chance opportunities, they're just taking it to them. Pat's going to call a timeout after this one. But just look at that. It's just unbelievable.
3 chances that time, and not only do you get the foul, or do you get the hoop, you get the foul. And Pat Summitt's livid.
That's unbelievable.
That's Nitra Perry, listed at 5'8". With the hoop and the foul, she'll be at the free throw line when we come back from this timeout. Tennessee down by 11. So Mississippi State with the 11-point lead. You see Pat Summitt unhappy.
Very unhappy with her ball club right now. I think she just really she cannot believe the lack of effort that she is seeing from her basketball team right now. I saw it earlier this year when they played Georgia, just a lack of effort from her basketball team, and right now it's almost as if they're laying down.
Tell you what, Mississippi State leading and rebounding now 29-26 as Perry completes the three-point play. Pam Ward and Tiffany Wright in Chattanooga, Tennessee, where Mississippi State is pulling off what would be their biggest win in program history, up by 12, make it 10 as Catchings goes in. Tamika has 16, and the crowd imploring, begging Tennessee for a defensive stop.
This crowd wants more to cheer about.
Something to cheer about there is Harris just lost it out of bounds. She points to her chest and says, yeah, that was my fault, but we will go on. Mississippi State showing a lot of poise so far. 7 minutes and 32 seconds left in this one. Tennessee has to come back from 10 points down to win the title.
Lean on me when you're not strong.
Four will compete. One will prevail. The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship. First round coverage begins March 17th on ESPN and ESPN2.
Mississippi State had never even made it to the semifinals of the SEC tournament until this year. Here in the finals, they have a 10-point lead over the two-time defending tournament champion, Tennessee.
That's unbelievable, Pam. I mean, they're only the fourth team in this tournament history to play on day one and still make it to the championship. I mean, that's saying a lot about how hard it is to play in this tournament.
Remember, they beat Georgia last night by 1. Kelly Miller had a chance for the winning shot, missed it. The Bulldogs of Georgia lost. Tara Elsey is checked in for the first time, and she misses for Tennessee. So Pat Summitt trying more combinations, try to get her team away.
Right now, Tennessee looking for something, any kind of answer.
Oh, great block there by Snow. Bambro misses on the follow. Tennessee got away with one there. Catching by Perry inside to Snow. She gets fouled.
And I think that was a very good pass by Tamika Catchinger in there inside to Snow. She could have taken that shot easily herself, but gave it up for that higher percentage shot, getting Snow the basketball. Good team basketball.
It's got to be part of the game plan, obviously, to get the ball into Michelle Snow. Again, just one field goal here in the second half. She was 4 of 7 from the floor in the first half. And Snow was terrific coming in. She had made 18 number 21 shots from the floor, 3 fouls on LaToya Thomas, the superstar from Mississippi State. I think she's past stardom.
She has past stardom. She is a real deal.
And Tennessee now pressuring the basketball down 8.
Tennessee wants to take some time off the clock, make this Mississippi State team has to think a little bit, not getting an easy shot.
Shot clock down to 7. Harris inside, great cut to the hoop by Thomas.
And the reason she got that look, Pam, is because look at how many seams there were in that offense. It was so wide open. They spread them out, and that's just a good job of Mississippi State cutting in those seams, finding the open spaces inside.
Boy, Snow creates space to get to.
Snow screaming at her teammates, Pam, going, let's go, let's play. Trying to get her team fired up.
Snow has 15 points. And a timeout going to be taken quickly by Mississippi State.
And it's just the old traditional give and go. Look at that. Watch this. She gives it up, gets it right back, right through the seam. That's just great teamwork. Good passing on the inside. And right now, Mississippi State is trying to make the upset happen, and they're doing it with LaToya Thomas. That is unbelievable in the SEC, what she has done. Leads the league in points with 20. Look at her free throw percentage. That's not bad for a freshman. 56% from the field and nearly 10 rebounds a game. Almost a double-double every game. That is unbelievable, Pam, when you take a look at what this Mississippi State team has done. And it hasn't just been one player. Just look at that. That's unbelievable. 25 points already.
Thomas going to sit down and rest for a little bit, but I would assume not for long. Shot clock down to 6. Nowhere to go. Harris defended nicely by Elsie. All desperation three.
Mississippi State has to be very careful right now because this is a repeat of Starkville all over again. It's unbelievable. They were up in the second half, and that right there, Pam, that will get you back in the ballgame.
Tamika Catchings with the clutch three-pointer. She has 19, and the lead is down to 5.
It's exactly what happened. Mississippi State was not able to hold on to that lead. Tennessee went on a run, and their runs are very hard runs.
Foul called underneath against Tennessee as Thomas is going to check back in. She was not out for long.
You were right, Pam. They can't leave her out for long. It's enough to catch her breath, take a couple of swigs of water, and that's about it.
So Angela Harris is going to go to the line as Elsie is called for her first foul. 10 fouls, though, against Tennessee, so we're looking at the double bonus for the rest of the game for the Lady Bulldogs.
Something this Tennessee team was really worried about was foul trouble.
There's Harris coming back in, or LaToya Thomas, excuse me, coming back in. As Harris has 16 points. She averages 9 on the year, make it 17. And the lead is back up to 7 for the Lady Bulldogs. The Bulldogs did make the NCAA tournament last year, the National Women's Invitation Tournament the year before. They've never won an NCAA game. They're definitely going to get a bid this year. I think that's safe to say. Catching! For 2. So she nails a 3, then nails a 2. Trying to get her team back into it.
Tennessee has so many weapons that can go off at any time. Tamika Catchings making it even happen on the defensive end, man.
LaToya Thomas has just been called for her 4th personal foul for mixing it up underneath.
And that's a good heads-up play by drawing the foul there. Tamika Catchings not only doing it on the offensive end, doing it on the defensive end as well. Trying to get her team back in this ballgame.
Called for the elbow. That's the 7th foul against Mississippi State, so Tennessee in the 1-and-1. As the officials go over to the Tennessee bench to talk some things over. LaToya Thomas with those 4 fouls and 25 points. Look at Lawson. I mean, that's the thing, right? Your point guard, this is the time to get close and understand exactly what you need to get done.
Oh, this time is crucial.
Now, what they're discussing now is whether Tamika Catchings' last shot was a 3 or a 2. It was called a 2. And this is one of the rules that was implemented, of course, during this season, was that you could go and look at replays.
And now Sharon Fanning's going to call over her team and talk some things over with them. This is the time when you can get a free timeout. And this is what they're talking about right here, Pam. Watch here. She takes a step back, and that right toe is on the line. And it's over the line. But they went ahead and called it. I think they called it a 2. They're thinking it should be a 3.
So it definitely was a 2-point shot there. Take a look.
And look at her right foot, Cam, right there. It's fully over the line. And it was a nice shot, nice clutch shooting, take a look closer, you can see it's on the line.
And they did credit her with a 2, and it stood up. So it is 60 to 55. The women's tournament selection special, unbelievable. 1 week from today at 5 Eastern time on ESPN. Robin Roberts, Jay Billis, Vera Jones, letting you know what 64 teams or which 64 teams will be in. Check it out 5 Eastern next Sunday on ESPN. We know these 2 teams will be in.
We
and
definitely
a lot
do.
of teams from the SEC will be in.
The selection time, it's always a fun time if you're a basketball player, watching the selection show with your team and seeing where you're going to go, what region you'll be in, and it's a fun time. It can be a little nerve-wracking if you're on the bubble though, and you're not sure if you're in or not.
Catching with 23 points. And Tennessee puts on the pressure, only down 3. Mississippi State clearing the floor out. Shot clock at 15, taking their time.
Tennessee right now denying them anything, playing great denial defense, really trying to push them out.
Corey Randall flooding Thomas, not letting her get the ball. As Harris misses, and the Lady Vols come up.
LaToya Thomas has to be a little bit more careful down there. Doesn't want to pick up another foul.
Lawson driving against Harris. Draws the foul. It's going to be a block against Angela Harris, and Lawson will go to the line.
I'm a little surprised Lawson didn't make that shot. You know how it's like to deliver on the clutch. You take a look here. This freshman can do it all. She really can. Doesn't even look like a basketball player. When you look at her physique, the way she looks on the basketball court, you know, you think she was a soccer player or something. We all know she played football and stuff growing up. But she just has the ability to do so many different things with the basketball.
She's a terrific youth football player in the Washington, D.C. area. They make people tough, you know, from the Washington, D.C. area. Great athlete from Springfield, Virginia. And coming in and is the starting guard for this Lady Vol team as a freshman. She did miss the first free throw, however. Got the second one. So Carol Lawson, her first point of the second half. Tennessee has trimmed the lead to 2 as Mississippi State tries to ruin the day of the Ketchum family in Chattanooga.
Dream a lover, where are you? With a love oh so true, a girl to hold in my arms and know the magic of her charm.
You never know when love might come true, so be ready with Scope. Nothing can...
On your side, and by Nike.
Tennessee only down by 2 as Tamika Catchings has caught fire in the second half. This is the way the play looks when she nails a jump shot. As Catchings gets it, and 3 of her 23 points, and if you're her father, Harvey, this is the way it looks when he's watching everything develop, when his kid plays ball.
You have nothing, you have nothing. Go to the ball, Mika. Here. Boom. All right, baby.
Celebration. That is a proud papa in the stands, Sam.
I would imagine it's much tougher watching the kid play than it would be to play. All that nervous energy, you saw him, he's popping out of his seat.
He can't sit still. I wonder if he has a seatbelt over there.
Let's take a look at our reset. Tennessee down by 2, each team with 2 timeouts. Tennessee with 10 fouls for Mississippi State in the double bonus. Mississippi State 2 fouls away from sending Tennessee to the line for 2 shots every time. Under 3.5 minutes to go as Tennessee steals it, Elsie misses, put back Jackson, we're tied. And the foul.
Cam, that was huge. Right there, that was huge. And that's a team that has been here before and knows what to do in crucial situations. Getting the steal on the inbound, that's unbelievable. That pressure defense, then getting the basketball, knowing what to do. A teammate misses, but hey, there's another Lady Ball to pick up the rebound, put it back, and get the foul. This Tennessee team, they've been here before.
So Tennessee not only ties up the game, but that was the 5th personal foul on LaToya Thomas. She goes out with 3 minutes and 21 seconds left, and the score tied at 60. We'll take a note of that. As Mississippi State loses its superstar freshman, 25 points for Thomas to go along with 7 rebounds.
And that really hurts them for Mississippi State having their leading scorer go down in a tied ball game with under 4 minutes to go. That's huge.
And not only the leading scorer, as you mentioned, but opens up the court so much for other players on the Lady Bulldog team. So Sharon Fanning going to talk about it as the offensive options change drastically.
And this is how it happened. Pressure defense by Tennessee, pressing them full court, gets the turnover right there up to Elsie. She can't knock it down, but that's all right because here comes the freshman, Gwen Jackson, with the poise, the know-how to knock it down and to tie this ball game up and with a chance to go up with a 3-point play.
Coming up tonight at 9 Eastern Time, college hoops tonight on ESPN2. The definitive college basketball show leading us up to Selection Sunday. That is coming up. Carl Ravitch and Jay Billis, your hosts. Men's and women's basketball tonight, 9 Eastern on ESPN2. For more, log on to ESPN.com. You got to credit Gwen Jackson on that sequence. She forced the turnover, got the offensive rebound, and the putback. So terrific effort from Gwen, who has not played that much in this tournament. I'll build her up as she misses the free throw.
You jinxed her, Pam.
So LaToya Thomas in the unusual position of watching her team play the most important basketball game it might have ever played.
Now LaToya Thomas has to be a coach, Pam. She has to sit on the side, encourage her team, point out things she sees.
As Harris goes in, she gets hacked. So a foul called against Tennessee. And again, they're in the double bonus. We had 2 foul shots coming.
And you know, Sharon Fanning said earlier this year that, you know, her team has never been here before. I mean, they don't have the poise that other teams have, that like a Tennessee who's been here several times before, and they know what to do in crucial situations. They don't fold under pressure. Her basketball team hasn't had to win this way, except for last night.
Huge win over Georgia, a big win for them, because Georgia fought back and was unable to win. Mississippi State trying to keep Tennessee from doing what they did to them in Starkville last year, was fight back and come away with a victory. Meanwhile, Angela Harris nails both free throws. The senior with 19 points, 10 over her season average.
So important now for the other players on Mississippi State to step up right now. That's their leading scorer out of the ball game. You've got to get easy looks.
There's no Thomas in the middle. Randall goes right over Fambro.
The leaner, Pam, the leaner.
Tamika Randall has 13 to tie this ball game up as we hit the 2.5-minute mark.
Mississippi State doesn't want to get hurried in their offense right here. They want to take a good shot, work the ball around.
Shot clock down to 9, and a push out front. Elsie going to be called for the hand shot. That's 3 on Tyra.
Elsie can't believe it.
Coming up next, stay with us at the top of the hour. It's the Big Ten Championship as Penn State, led by the wonderful Andrea Garner and Helen Darling, take on Purdue from Indianapolis. Check it out right after us on ESPN2. Another conference champion will be crowned, and you can watch it. Angela Harris has been quite cool from the line. Knocks down the free throw. She has 21 points. We have 8 free throws here in the second half. Mississippi State up by 2. Harris 9 of 9 from the line this afternoon. Catches. Good rebound underneath. Elsie puts it up. A lot of contact, no foul, but Catchings does it.
That is unbelievable. Tamika Catchings took that shot. Elsie gets the rebound, and that quick, Tamika Catchings was back from the perimeter all the way on the inside to hustle for that offensive rebound.
So once again, we are tied at 64 this time. 12 now as Lawson starts to attack. Game clock under a minute. Snow forces it over to Elsie, and she gets fouled. The basket does not count. They called the foul on Elsie's follow attempt.
And Elsie's really been doing a good job, Pam, on the boards. I mean, you see here, Snow, through the double team, tries to throw it up. And just look at that. I hate to say it, but it is a nail-biter, isn't it?
Literally for the Lady Vols. Certainly not used to this situation very often. The Lady Vols did lose 3 games this year. Louisiana Tech, UConn, and Georgia, their losses. As Elsie goes to the line to shoot 2. And there's your free throw situation. Mississippi State taking better advantage. But Elsie gives her team back the lead. Good job by Elsie coming off the bench in this game. Morgan both, her first 2. The lead is 2. Harris over Elsie. Catchings with the rebound. And a foul going to be called on Angela Harris in the backcourt. Not a necessary foul. They're only down by 2, and she's going to send Lawson to the line. There was a 7-second. There was definitely a difference between the clock, the shot clock, and the game clock. So it was not a necessary foul, especially with Lawson in the backcourt.
You're absolutely right. I don't know why they chose to commit that foul right there.
Lawson now has an opportunity to make it into a 2-possession game. We'll take a look at the reset. 1 timeout for Mississippi State, 2 for Tennessee. The possession arrow in favor of the Lady Vols. Both teams in the double bonus. And Lawson is now 1 of 3 from the line today.
Unusual. Stripe has not been kind to her.
She's first in the SEC in free throw shooting this season, hitting 85% of the free throws during the regular year. And she's only 1 of 3.
Got to knock them down when they count.
She's been a clutch player from the floor so far this season. Now she has to do it from the stripe. 1 of 4. But the rebound goes to catching.
That teammate taking care of teammates right there.
There's about a 5-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Tennessee does have to shoot in this possession. They're eating up a lot of it. Shot clock down to 9. Randall fouled out front by Harris. With time running out on the shot clock. But 2 ill-conceived fouls now by the Lady Bulldogs.
Well, once again, Pam, as we said earlier, it's not being in this situation. This Lady Bulldog basketball team, they haven't been here before. Not a lot. And it's hard for players to make decisions. The adrenaline's high. They were smelling upset. They knew Tennessee was going to make a run and come back.
And Randall knocks them both down. She has 15. And it's now a 4-point lead for Tennessee. No time to waste for the Dogs. Harris for 3.
Get it!
Wow.
Angela Harris has delivered for her basketball team. She really has. Stepping up, having the confidence. That's a senior making a great play. Taking it back. Look, she steps back. Watch this. She steps back, having the poise to get her feet behind her 3-point line. And there's no football there, Pam. Look at that. She has really stepped it up for her team, especially in the absence of Latoya Thomas.
And that's a terrific job. Kyra Elsie about 5 inches taller. And you're right, Latoya Thomas, for those of you just joining us, the freshman of the year in the SEC, fouled out with 3 minutes and 21 seconds left. The score was tied at 60. And now it's just a 1-point lead. Tennessee, though, with the basketball. And there is Latoya. Terrific game for her. 25 points.
I'll look for Mississippi State to get a quick foul here. Put Tennessee on the line.
Go for the steal. If there's no steal, foul right away, right?
Yes.
And that is up to Nitra Perry. And they did it quickly. Only about 1.3 seconds went off the clock.
Start fanning morning traffic law. You know, you do anything.
Give me a call. I'm in my hometown.
She wants it.
So with 7.9 seconds left on the game clock, it's all up to Tamika Randall. She just hit 2 clutch free throws. She gets 2 more here. Randall catching Clement, this junior class, has never lost this SEC tournament. What she should do. It's still a one-possession game. A 3 can tie it up for Mississippi State. Harris shoots it over Randall. Air ball, and Tennessee wins the SEC tournament for the 3rd time in a row and the 10th time in their history. But what a job by the Lady Bulldogs.
Mississippi State fought hard, Cam. Great game by both teams.
And this is sort of a David and Goliath matchup, and David almost did it. Terrific effort by Mississippi State, falling 70-67 to the Lady Vols, who are once again the SEC champions. We will see both teams in the NCAA. Coming up next, Purdue and Penn State in the Big Ten Championship. This has been a copyrighted presentation of ESPN, the Worldwide Leader of Sports. We're giving you right and our entire crew. I'm Pam Ward, so long from Chattanooga.
Rim rocker, shot blocker, and a roof on, baby. Are you ready?
The Purdue Boilermakers, the 3 seed, and the Penn State Lady Lions, the top seed from Conseco Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. And here is how these two have advanced in the tournament. Penn State a winner over Ohio State and Illinois, and Purdue picked up wins over Wisconsin and Michigan to get to the championship. And welcome inside Conseco Fieldhouse, Beth Mullins, along with Vera Jones and Vera Penn State. Now, thanks to this last 3-pointer from Katie Douglas.
There's a look. Look at her ability to stop and pop and her court awareness. She stepped over the 3-point line, and this is my favorite part. Looking for the cheers everywhere.
She's having a lot of fun.
She does have fun.
3 for 5 tonight, 31% on the season, so above average for Katie Douglas, who was really in the thick of the race, I would have to believe, for National Player of the Year honors, and certainly Kodak All-America honors. As Penn State will have to bring a timeout, couldn't get it inbounds. Oh, you hate to see that coming out of a timeout when they had a chance to set up the inbound play. And a reminder that the NCAA Women's Tournament Selection Special, presented by State Farm, is next Sunday at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. The show hosted by Robin Roberts, and will exclusively unveil the 64 teams in the Women's 2000 NCAA Tournament. And my favorite part will no doubt be the insightful commentary provided by not only Jay Billis, but Vera Jones as well.
You are lying, you're here.
Hey, ESPN is, of course, the exclusive home of the women's NCAA tournament. And pretty much a wide-open affair, considering some of the things that have been happening in recent weeks. Connecticut losing to Tennessee. Tennessee a big scare today from Mississippi State. And Penn State, their hands full here with Purdue. Fresh 30-second shot clock for the Lady Lions. Tight
that zone. The only one they'll really concentrate on out there is Shepard. That's their big threat from the outside, although Darling has come on this tournament and hit a few from the outside, and they've got to cut off that flash from Garner because that's the second time now in the last 3 or 4 minutes that she's hit right from that same spot.
Penn State knocking down the opportunities much better here in the second half. They've doubled their field goal percentage. They're over 50% now. Katie Douglas hits her fourth three of the game. Big-time players coming up big in the big games.
And it's clear to see from that type of play why Katie Douglas has played in 10 games, all the games, 40 minutes long. She's played in 10 contests this year.
Barnes off balance connects.
Athleticism. And that's the one thing about Purdue. One of the concerns was with them using so many of their starters. Great steal. Will they get tired? Will they burn out?
Walseth with another steal. She's got 3 of them up at the top of that zone tonight.
Good hands again. That's Kamara who caused that. You got the quick hands reaching in.
She's got 3 or 4 steals as well. Hart.
Hart.
Great drive. Move to the bucket, and Cooper will go to the free throw line.
I don't know. Parks, I think, has made some great penetration moves, and Cooper has really struggled with the pass. The penetration, maybe her passes are too hard, but look at this. Shake you out of your shoes, wear slippers. There's the pass on the inside, and Cooper struggling. Had she not struggled with the pass, that would have been a nice, easy 2. Then she gets the trip to the charity stripe.
And that is where, as you mentioned earlier, Vera, she has struggled all season long. Just a 61% shooter. Barnes will sit down with 3 personals.
She's much more consistent down on the block, but again, I've noticed that several times. Parks comes flying through the key or whips a good pass to her, and she just struggles with handling it. I think she likes the soft touch because that's how her shot is.
14 for Camille. Off the dribble again. Camaro able to reach in from behind and get a piece of it, and Penn State will keep it.
Duhart thought she was being whistled for the foul. Walsh is spending a lot of time on the floor. You can see she wears the knee pads, and just there, Duhart thought she heard the whistle. She went, "No, you got to be kidding me." She fell down, so she didn't get the whistle this time, so she's in luck.
Darling on the drive, tried to feed Walseth, knocked out of bounds by Purdue, although the Boilermakers don't agree, and neither does June Courteau. The officials will talk about it, and they'll change the call.
Okay.
Good piece of officiating there.
Here's the drive, a C. Oh, yeah, she touched it, but they reversed it. She did touch it, so Art Bromagin was right on the call.
Whistle away from the ball is going to go against Walseth. First second. First 30 here for the Boilermakers.
If they can set something up, that ball will stay in the hands of Douglas. But she just leaves her own. Look at this. Where's the offense? It's the Katie Douglas show.
Can't get that one to drop, and another foul will be called on Walseth.
Good job. We talked about Duhart, and I don't know if you remember, but in the first half, I talked about you want to watch someone down in the post. That's her ability. Again, just head smart, knowing how to get the other player. Now, she's on the offensive end here, but just to fight. And that simply was a reach-in from Walseth, but she's always in the right place at the right time.
Cooper misses on the shot. That, by the way, was Walseth's 3rd personal. Machine Barnes with 3 apiece. Douglas has 3 for Purdue. Darling gets by Katie off the dribble. Hard off the back iron. And Camaro walks with it.
I actually thought there would be a whistle on that call. Other than the traveling call, I thought there was contact. But I hear with people behind me yelling foul. No doubt. No doubt for two fans. It's actually just kind of a loose ball. Yeah. I don't know about the travel. I don't know about that one, Art.
Another quick whistle inside, and it's the third on Michelle Duhart. So now the whistle's a little more frequent, and the fouls are mounting on both sides. Also, the feed to Garner. That is her spot right there.
She needs to run over, get a little piece of tape, put it down the floor. Garner. This spot is hers. Hart, 14 now.
Hesitation and passes it to the WNBA scout sitting there in the front row.
Good way to get the attention. Good way to get the attention.
21, now 22 turnovers for Purdue. Shepard looking for some open space, doesn't find it. Camara.
What a close basketball game.
Penn State with just 7 offensive rebounds to 14 for Purdue. And a foul on the shot from Cooper.
Now Cooper can really help this situation if she could knock down these 2 free throws. Again, she's a good shooter down on the block. In fact, her career field goal percentage, 60.2%. Almost better than her field goal percentage, which is at 61. Or excuse me, her free throw percentage, which is at 61.
That's the third personal now on Dre Garner.
There's that big arc. Big arc. She's frustrated, too. She knows how important these are.
Boilermakers just 4 of 9 from the line.
Nice.
Cooper gets the second one to go. 15 for Camille. And Purdue on top by the deuce. Back after this.
Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me.
I'd sooner kiss a Wookiee.
You talking to me? Huh? What? Are you talking to me?
For people who really get into movies, we introduce Comcast Digital Cable, a way to get up to 150 channels with no dish to buy, just $9.95 more each month, and get a 30-day money-back guarantee.
Are you talking to me?
Order Comcast Digital Cable today.
I was injured when a door at work fell on me and injured my back. I realized after several phone calls to my employer that it was going to be necessary to obtain a lawyer. Welch May and Associates were highly recommended to me by a friend. It was nice having someone who could explain my rights to me. With Welch May and Associates, I didn't feel alone. I never dreamed I would ever need an attorney. If I ever do need an attorney again, I'll be sure to call Welch May and Associates.
The championship week party rocks on in the House of Hoops. I can't wait. Let me get there. Get the bus going. Their schools may be smaller, but these boys can drive, dish, and jam with the best. It's an all-out battle for bragging rights where the winners get more than a trophy. They get a ticket to the dance. The Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference Championship at 7. The Missouri Valley Conference Championship at 9. The West Coast Conference Championship at midnight. Championship Week, presented by 7-Up. Tomorrow on ESPN.
Upset brewing in the Big Ten Championship here in Indianapolis, and on Tuesday night it's the Big East Championship as Championship Week continues on ESPN2. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Tuesday from Gamble Pavilion in Storrs, Connecticut. ESPN, the exclusive home of the women's NCAA tournament, and that should be a dandy. The Big East with the second best RPI in the country this year. And the fouls now mounting up on both sides of the ball.
Good hustle and great defense. Both ends now closely guarded, but still manages to get away.
Oh, what a feed from Darling to Walson.
You know, when you're a scout and you're out there looking for that quality point guard, that's why her name has popped up so many times. Her ability to find the open player and penetrate is just phenomenal.
7 assists now for Darling tonight. Douglas fouled on the shot. The second personal now on Lisa Shepard. Look at this dish. Darling to Walter.
And again, just
Douglas to the free throw line. Katie gets to the line more than anybody else in the Big Ten. In fact, she has taken 60 more free throws than anybody else in the conference this season. And Katie is 3 for 4 today.
nice in and out. That's something they need. And I talked about it before. That's beautiful from the outside from Foul Cone. Notice when the ball went inside how that freed her up down in the corner because everyone focused on collapsing on Walters in the paint.
2 triples now for Chrissy Falcone.
I love the in and out. That's one of my favorite parts of the game.
Camara tries to match it. Shepard with the weak side board. Lady Lions looking for the secondary break. And they'll set up in the middle too. Shepard off the screen. Tried to get it inside, knocked back out.
Shepard, they need to let her spot up and see if she can get that three going because they'll need it come the end of the game. You just never know.
Shot clock's winding down. Garner saw it. Strong move to the bucket and knocked out of bounds to Penn State with 2 seconds left on the shot clock.
They're going to need a big bucket here. Let's see.
Got to hustle one up.
Send somebody to the corner or a big flash to the paint.
Darling will inbound it. Walton, and she loses it out of bounds. Good defense by Duhart.
Well, Michelle Duhart again. That's the defender. No way was she going to let her get that ball. That's what she does best. As you look at her numbers, Duhart only puts up about 2. She's got 2 points now. She's only averaging about 5 or so a game. But it's, again, the big thing she does in the paint defensively that make her so good.
She didn't score in the semis. In fact, she didn't even shoot in the semis. And she gets it done defensively.
And again, that was
right there.
Duhart again, slapping. I mean, she's just amazing me the things that she can do defensively.
Possession arrow gives it to the Lady Lions.
In fact, the only way I can think of that it won't benefit her to be defensive is in her engagement to Mike Robinson, the Purdue men's basketball player, proposed to her on February 14th, 1999. So she's engaged.
On Valentine's Day. Rashana Barnes did the same thing for Penn State, right?
That's right. She's engaged to Jimmy Kennedy, defensive tackle for Penn State. So February 14th is a big day. Houston was busy.
Darling with the takeaway from Parks and then draws the foul on Shanika and will go to the line.
Nice use of the left hand on the drive. Once again, demonstrating that versatility and a no-fear attitude on her way to the basket. Helen Darling.
Third on Parks.
Picks it off. A little defensive action, and again, the attempt at the lay-in. We'll see how effective and versatile she is from the free throw line.
Penn State 10 of 11 from the line. 11 points for Helen along with 7 assists. She's perfect 5 of 5 from the line tonight. She stays that way. A dozen for Darling.
We talked about how critical those free throws are going to be in this game. Penn State getting to the line could hurt Purdue.
Douglas tries for the tie.
Douglas says nothing's going to hurt us as long as I'm in control. Give me the ball.
5 threes for Katie Douglas.
20 points.
Under 5 to go. We're all tied up in Indianapolis for the Big Ten Championship.
Nice move from Darling.
And Darling is fouled again by Parks, and that's her 4th.
What Purdue should be focusing on now is obviously Penn State is really hurting them from the outside with that outside shot. What has hurt them actually is Helen Darling's penetration, and also remember Garner getting that nice little soft touch. They have to protect the middle. There's a nice penetration move on the inside. There's the bump. She used her body well to get that bump.
Shepard misses the layup. Camara running out for Purdue. Back to Kelly. Sights up the 3.
Kelly Kamara and Katie Douglas have become three-point shooting specialists in one game.
And the takeaway.
Oh, Kamara. She's actually the team's best three-point shooting scorer. Although Purdue, which traditionally does not shoot well.
Douglas almost had a chance at a three-point play the old-fashioned way as Shepard is whistled for the reach-in. Tonight, Purdue has set a season high with 9 three-pointers. They're 50% from downtown. And they have the three-point lead. Douglas looking to add to it.
There are 11 teams in the Big Ten, go figure. And in three-point field goals made, they are ranked team number 11. Purdue has really turned that around today.
21 for Douglas. The Big Ten's leading scorer is right at her season average. And Purdue bumps the lead up to 62-57, under 4 to go.
When you have an ailment, different doctors might recommend different treatments. But for women suffering with yeast infections, the #1 recommendation of doctors is specific: Monistat. Monistat starts working immediately to relieve the awful burning and itching, and it provides an effective cure. Sure, doctors have many brands of yeast infection medicine to choose from, but Monistat is their #1 choice. Monistat, the #1 doctor-recommended brand.
What you don't get with cut-rate car insurance is a State Farm agent to turn to when you need help.
I'm lonely.
So if you get into an accident,
I'm Mr. Lonely.
you could end up feeling
Wish I had someone
very much alone.
to call on.
Don't want to feel all alone? Go with the good neighbor service you get with a State Farm agent.
62-57 Purdue. Katie Douglas tying her career high tonight with 5 threes, Vera.
Just nothing short of awesome. She spots up so nicely, and again, she's a lefty. A lot of players come out, as in this situation, with the wrong hand up. Kelly Kamara saying, if she can do it, I can do it too. Absolutely fundamental three-point shooting from both of those two players.
As a team, 9 triples tonight. That is a season high for the Boilermakers. Coming in averaging just 2 per game. But they have taken advantage of the opportunities outside the arc.
Giving them away. She does that well. It's kind of different than the raise the roof. Kind of like raise the sky, how she does it.
Penn State, 2 wins in the regular season over Purdue. They need a 3rd here to secure the Big Ten championship, but the Boilermakers have other plans. Shepard, checked by Douglas. Walseth on the drive, goes around Duhart, no good. And the rebound batted around, and the foul will be on the black and gold.
Poor Helen Darling. I'm just watching her fly from one end of the court to the next. Her jersey should be a nice shade of gray by now, as many times as she's gone to the floor and slid around.
4th personal on Michelle Duhart. Darling, her first miss of the night at the line.
With the pressure. Uh-oh, let up on that trap. Great pressure.
The help coming, and the foul will be called against
She's got to be in pain. She took that one very, very hard. Helen Darling, that one came directly at her ribs, and it's a great thing she's wearing that flap jacket, because that happened right in front of us. I felt that.
Good look at the trap here from Garner.
She's just causing all this confusion. Here's the second trap. This is where they almost get it. Good hustle. There's the contact Darling gets from Kamara.
And look at her holding that rib when she goes down to the free throw line.
Still able to come back and hit the free throw. That's not leadership, that's courage.
Well, the other interesting thing, too, Darling and Garner from Penn State and Cooper and Douglas from Purdue were teammates this past summer. Rennie Portland was the coach of the World University Games, so they know each other very well, and the pressure creates another turnover. And the other thing, too, watching both these teams in practice today, they knew exactly what the plays were that the other teams were going to run.
Right. Oh, you mean two? Yeah. That's when she's going to curl. I got you.
So they know what's coming. It's a matter of trying to stop the execution of the other team. And under 3 to play, it's a 3-point Purdue lead. This is intense. Darling, she'll try the 3. Rebound Parks. Penn State trying to apply some pressure. Duhart.
Purdue just needing really to push the ball as much as they can. What happened in that last sequence, there were 4 white shirts in the backcourt. A wide open Cooper down low.
Kamara, long range 3, and it's a big one.
Oh, is anyone home? Oh my God, incredible.
4th triple for Kamara. 10 for the Boilermakers tonight. That one was huge.
Some like it hot.
Darling on the drive, muscles one up and in.
Battle of the point guards. I can't pick a winner yet.
16 tonight for Helen.
Same situation, Cooper all alone in the paint.
Oh, nice head fake by Camille, and she gets it up and in.
Maybe they heard because that has happened on several occasions. She's just been sitting there. All they had to do to break the press was throw the long pass.
17 for Camille. Shepard right back for Penn State. The Lady Lions won't go away.
Timeout, Penn State.
Penn State takes the timeout. Down 4, a minute 35 to go.
Rennie Portland really thinking this one over.
They've got 2 timeouts left. Purdue has all 4 remaining.
Purdue certainly has been in this situation before.
The possession arrow favoring Purdue. Both teams are in the bonus. And Purdue with the 4-point lead. We are at Conseco Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. Beth Mullins and Vera Jones. The Big Ten Championship on the line. And possibly for Penn State, a top seed in the NCAA tournament.
Look at Kamara. She was way outside the arc when she launched that one. Fully with confidence. Something that Purdue has to be very careful of. The next foul sends Penn State into the double bonus, where they will get 2 shots instead of the 1 and 1.
Purdue has 3 very good ball handlers with Parks, Douglas, and Kamara. We'll play a little keep away.
Great job getting the ball over with confidence. Falcone, tough job. Getting beat, she's going to have to move those feet, play the toughest defense she's played.
Douglas working on Darling. Katie Douglas, no good. Rebound Penn State.
Shepard, she'll look to launch a 3 if she has to.
Oh, and a steal by Katie Douglas. Big defensive play.
Oh, that's big. That was big. That's critical right there. And look, Douglas is like, I'm not giving the ball up. If the ball's going to be in anyone's hand at the end of the game, it's mine. Look at that. Leadership. Awesome. Kamara was standing right there in the corner like, I'm right here for you. And she's like, I don't need you. I'm keeping this ball. I will be the one that gets fouled. I will make these final baskets.
Katie Douglas, the best free throw shooter in the Big Ten. And she is 5 of 6 tonight. 82% on the season. And in between the free throws, Purdue will call a timeout. Katie Douglas now with 23 to lead the way for the Boilermakers.
It's an We know it's the danger team. And you get a second and a third look at it. We'll give you a full 90 minutes of the bracket.
The men's selection show next Sunday night. The women's selection show as well on ESPN. Boy, getting into that best time of the year.
Oh, it's an exciting time of the year, and I'd say it's already begun tonight with the big Tennessee game before this one. And Purdue and Penn State at each other.
Darling with 4, Duhart and Parks with 4. Purdue has hit their last 5 free throws. Make it 6.
Total confidence. Simple defense, no fouls is key here for Purdue. Penn State needs one quickly, rather quickly. Running off screens there, Shepard.
She's got the look, and Camara with the rebound. And now Penn State's going to have to put Purdue on the line. Purdue looking to be the first team to win 3 Big Ten championships in a row. And they got a beat on it right now.
All over the ball. That's Camara again. Again, they had to go for the foul. Excellent. Excellent job of just holding on to the basketball. And now converting on the free throws.
7 straight down the stretch for Purdue at the line.
Unbelievable. Very nice.
Purdue now over 70 points, and they are unbeaten this year, 11-0 when they hit that mark. They are in control right now, under 30 to go.
Not enough time to, they need a quick basket. The ambidextrous Alicia Shepard, I thought, would be the one to take another one. Said that's Falcone. Time is running out. Already at the 12-second mark.
Katie Douglas and company getting ready to celebrate the Big Ten championship. For the 3rd year in a row, the Boilermakers take home the trophy.
Just outstanding, exciting. Come up with some more adjectives for me. Just super basketball. Oh, how exciting.
71-63 the final. Katie Douglas leading the way with 24 points, and Purdue hits a season-high 10 3-pointers to get it done over Penn State.
Good time to come out strong with your 3-point game.
So Purdue, 3 consecutive Big Ten championships, 71-63 the final over the top seed. Penn State coming up next. College hoops tonight. For Vera Jones, I'm Beth Mowins. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more information, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.
Perennial Power College of Charleston, Appalachian State Southern Conference Finals. Appalachian State, Rufus Leach, 1 of 9 from 3. App State up by 3. Tyson Patterson, who's the Conference Player of the Year, he had 21, part of a 17-2 run as the Mountaineers begin to pull away. Buzz Peterson, ecstatic. The Dancing Parade, their first NCAA appearance since Bobby Cremins coached there in 1979. And so far,
that is jamming the mid area. They're going to be up for action in round 1, and you're going to see it right here on Speed World. Don't forget, the last race of the Winston Cup Series, the Napa 500 from Atlanta Raceway, is yours next Sunday on ESPN. It is the last race of the year. Be tuned at 12:40 Eastern Time next Sunday. Remember, for more, log on.